Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Charles Ling, a participant from Golden Bachelorette Season 1, has won everyone over with his charms, but can he ultimately win Joan Vassos over? Joan, a 61-year-old Rockville, Maryland-based private school administrator, is the star of the Golden Bachelorette. Her spouse of 32 years, John, passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2021, leaving her a mother of 4 and a grandma of 3. The star of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan, started her adventure with 24 guys, including Keith Gordon, who gave her her first impression rose, and Chalk Chapel, who gave her her first one-on-one date. Charles, a rising star in Bachelor Nation, is another of Joan's suitors. Will Charles ultimately wind up with Joan? Charles, a retired financial analyst from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is 66 years old. After his wife of 36 years passed away unexpectedly 6 years ago from a brain aneurysm, Charles struggled to cope. His one and only love was her. He confided in Joan about his loss during their 80s prom group date in the Golden Bachelorette, Season 1, Episode 2. He informed her that although he had been depressed, his 2 children had tried to console him a year or 2 before, telling him that it was acceptable to feel depressed, but not to live a life of sadness. Joan had lost her spouse, so she could identify with him. In his confessional, Charles subsequently stated that the prom was the happiest day of his life following the death of his wife. Even though Joan and Charles are starting to get along well, she ultimately decides against choosing him. Reality Steve disclosed on Instagram that Joan selected Chalk, but he is unsure if they became engaged. Furthermore, Charles was unable to attend Joan's hometown dates. Reality Steve has disclosed that Chalk, Guy Gansert, Pascal Ibgui, and Jordan Heller were Joan's final 4 suitors. After their dates in her hometown, Joan cut out Jordan. Joan then left for her fantasy suite dates with Chalk, Guy, and Pascal, which took her to Tahiti. As it is according to Steve, Pascal killed himself since he had no feelings for Joan. But Reality Steve was unsure if this occurred during the final 2 or 3. Joan ultimately decided on Chalk. When Joan said goodbye to Charles is still unknown. Charles, a participant on The Bachelorette, is among the most sincere individuals to have ever appeared on a Bachelor franchise show. Seeing him reopen to life and love after losing his cherished wife is encouraging. It's great to know that Joan found her happily ever after with Chalk, even though it's disheartening to learn that she and Charles weren't meant to be together. Charles should be able to replicate the success of the Golden Bachelor Season 2 star. Fans of The Bachelorette are definitely getting to know Charles, not in charge Ling, Joan Vassos' charming suitor, with his endearing eccentricities and lively demeanor. He's already winning over the fans. He is rapidly gaining the hearts of his followers with his understated humor and innocent curiosity. But will he be able to accompany Joan Vassos on his quest for love? What transformed Charles L. into the endearing man he is today? Discover charming Charles. Charles Ling has a charming sense of humor, and while some fans have already declared that he should be the next Golden Bachelor, others are simply enjoying him. The Golden Bachelorette's Charles is winning over fans' hearts with his energy even after just 2 episodes. His curiosity about life is evident, particularly when he and Jacqueline Choney give fans a tour of the estate. Once more, viewers witness him joke around with Jack while he cooks Joan dinner. Charles informs Jack, "If you have any questions, let me know," while he observes from a distance. And when he gets to know the Golden Bachelorette lifestyle, he is all oh boy remarks and wows. However, how did Charles come to be the man he is now? Fans of Golden Bachelorette recently had the opportunity to meet Charles Ling as he was leaving the house in the limo for the first time. He told Joan Vassos right away that he was 66 years old, even though he knew he only looked 36, demonstrating his sense of humor. Charles is a former financial analyst from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But Charles L. didn't arrive there by himself. Rather, his 2 adult daughters demanded that he rediscover happiness. They assisted him with his application to go on the show and his quest to rediscover love. Joan Vassos gave the men a treat during the first week of Golden Bachelorette. When they sat down, she played back taped messages from their family members. Charles Ling found it to be a heartfelt letter from his daughter. "I hope you have an amazing time and I love you so much." His expression brightened instantly, and all he could say was, "Wow! Surprise!" But his happiness was evident from the light on his face. Charles Ling is an adventurer, no doubt, but maybe not in the way that some people might believe. He had just $20 when he immigrated to the US from China. He rises above obstacles in his path. However, he talks about his late wife, who died 6 years ago, and their special memories. She sadly passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm. He was obviously devastated. "We had a lot of good days together," he said. "My one and only love was hers. How I made it through those years is beyond me." In addition, he told Joan Vassos that he is experiencing his happiest moment since her death. He posts on Instagram about how much fun it was to go the senior prom with the group date. "My dream came true," he captioned the photo. "I made up for missing prom in high school on this particular day." Visit Hulu to watch and stream # Golden Bachelor. He then included a gloriously joyful video of himself grinning, waving, fixing his tie, and giving the great time a thumbs up. Charles Ling is also retired and eager to party with a new girlfriend. Even though he has been in intense grief over his wife, he knows it is time to cherish her while still moving forward in life. He admits on his Bachelor Nation page that he is a huge fan of Britney Spears, and that his dream date would be to take Joan Vassos to a concert. Fans genuinely want to carry this lovely soul around in their pockets. Fans are hoping that despite reality Steve not include him in the Final Four, he will be present to display his kind nature and refined sense of humor. They also want to see more of his endearing antics, which he consistently delivers. Some people are also requesting that he be chosen for the next season of Golden Bachelor, or that he join Jack in Golden Bachelor in Paradise. Comment on social media by fans. Instagram users are adoring Charles Ling on a number of postings. He may or may not fall in love with Joan Vassos, but he has already been given the gift of renewed happiness. At all costs, keep Charles safe. Wishing for our King Charles to receive another rose. Charles rules, clapping hands, clapping hands, clapping hands. Charles, you are a national treasure. Make this man at Golden Bachelor at Golden Bachelorette the next Golden Bachelor. How does one feel about Charles Ling? Do you believe he will be chosen by Joan Vassos? Do you suppose he'll be here for a few more weeks? Please leave a remark below. The star of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 Joan started her adventure with 24 guys, including Keith Gordon, who gave her her first impression rose, and Chalk Chapel, who gave her her first one-on-one date. Charles, a rising star in Bachelor Nation, is another of Joan's suitors. Will Charles ultimately wind up with Joan? Charles, a retired financial analyst from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is 66 years old. After his wife of 36 years passed away unexpectedly 6 years ago from a brain aneurysm, Charles struggled to cope. His one and only love was her. He confided in Joan about his loss during their 80s prom group date in the Golden Bachelorette, Season 1, Episode 2. He informed her that although he had been depressed, his 2 children had tried to console him a year or 2 before, telling him that it was acceptable to feel depressed, but not to live a life of sadness. Joan had lost her spouse, so she could identify with him. In his confessional, Charles subsequently stated that the prom was the happiest day of his life following the death of his wife.